works today. Okay, we've got we're gonna have a relaxed day today. It's a Friday, and we're gonna see if we're streaming, right? So that's good. Yesterday for some reason, it quit streaming and nobody could figure it out. Restream couldn't figure it out. But today looks better, and we seem to be working, so I'm excited about that. And I apologize for the lack of interaction on my video, but I wanted to tell you that I've edited it down, got rid of the techie glitches, and so if you missed the webinar, AI ROI in 90 days guaranteed, if you missed that, I can get it for you. So put it on your to-do to send me a message on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. And I will send you that. You'll save I don't know, half an hour worth of watching time because I cut out some of the fluff and I came on early. So, and I learned yesterday or the day before Wednesday, I learned that I could edit and chop up the periscopes, which I've never done before, set a start date. So as a project after Labor Day, I think I'm going to chop a bunch of them down to size because there's a little fluff in every one. There's only several hundred, 268. 268. Okay, so this is the start of year 2. And to kick it off, I decided that I would, got to do my start. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. I'll be in Namoa on September 11th, downtown Chicago. I hope to see you there. I'm going to be making some calls and inviting you to discuss our AI 90-day ROI project, and I think it could be a real benefit to your company. If it doesn't pay off, you're off the hook. We start with a test, unlike just about everybody in the world, and we'll make it worth your while. Okay. Now, after a year of live streaming, LinkedIn has made available a live streaming option to key people, secret people that meet their criteria. So I applied for it, and I got this letter. I applied here and said, I would like to do this, and here's my application. And I gave them all kinds of stuff to read about how I stream all over the place and get lots of views on LinkedIn. And they sent me back this warm auto response that said, if you meet our criteria, you'll be put on a waiting list. No mention of what the criteria is. No mention of anything except they're not going to reply to anybody. But I thought this was interesting. It comes from the LinkedIn Safety Operations Support Specialist. I'm thinking to myself, what, are they afraid somebody will, do a wet t-shirt contest or something? Not here. Not enough facilities. Anyway, so I don't know what the safety issue is with live streaming on LinkedIn, but after 263 live streams, I think I could give them a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do next. Similar. So I wrote them a letter. Dear Victoria, thank you for your warm personal auto response. The president of Apple said about Google, if you're not paying for the service, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And I think LinkedIn is absolutely right, spot on that one, is that we are the product on LinkedIn. And so get used to it. My friend Nick Besbius used to be the VP of marketing, and I used to talk to him regularly about LinkedIn. And that was handy. But now I don't know how to get, there's like this wall of silence on LinkedIn. I have written a few people, but they don't write back. I mean, why would they want to? Why would they want to hear from customers or whatever we are, the products? Why would they want to hear what our reaction is to product? Anyway, I doubt there's many people on LinkedIn that do daily live streaming, but they don't seem to want to promote it. So on that note, maybe I should promote it. Here's Howard Sewell. And Howard, if you watch this, I invited Howard along. I don't see any comments from Howard. I don't see I mean, it's a little hard for me to see anything on the Periscope over here, but at least it's working. Howard, when you click the compression button on Mozilla Firefox, it changes the author's name. So I have to cut and paste your name into this article just so I know who you are and remember, because otherwise I misattribute. I suppose, is that a word? Is that a verb? I mistakenly attribute it to this other person who has no connection to the article whatsoever. So if you could tell customer think that you're sick of this, and as an author you deserve at least your name working properly, and if they can't figure it out, have them contact me. I'd be happy to explain it to them and show it to them. I have on some of my videos. I think I might have it handy over here. Well, before I get into that one, I just want to take a little aside here and say that Madame Trousseau's in Delhi has a new addition, a KFC Zinger burger. I'm not exactly sure what a Zinger is. I like the chicken, but I know that Chick-fil-A has chicken things, and so does now, what's the new one that just came out with one? Popeye's Chicken just came out with a new sandwich. Apparently this Zinger burger is big news all over the world, and so they put, this is apparently, I think just this guy, the Indian version of Colonel Sanders, which I love. I mean, that is so excellent, that KFC has done such a great job of extending this out. Although the lady version was a little hard for me, but, I get over it. I like the comedian version. He was really good. But anyway, I like that they do extend it. It's hilarious, I think. Kentucky Fried is great at, poking fun at themselves. And it's just a great brand. I'm not as big a Kentucky Fried Chicken eater as I used to be. I did when we were at a meeting at the Hudson Bay Company in Canada, and we had KFC up there, and it was really salty. I mean, it was like triple the salt that it has in the U.S. And I thought, well, they've adapted it to Canadian taste, so that's really interesting. So apparently the Zinger burger is spicy and is loved in 120 countries, and so they put it in the it's the only burger in Madame Trousseau's, 120 countries. It was introduced in 1984. Who knew? You won't get this news just everywhere. It's only in this area. It's the only burger that has traveled to space and inspired a tattoo artwork. In 2018 alone, they sold 10 million Zingers in India. That's like a Zinger for each and every person in New Zealand and Singapore. Okay, enough of that. So let's go back to Howard, okay, because we wanted to get that Zinger in there. So Howard is talking about mistakes that people make advertising on LinkedIn. I tried advertising on LinkedIn, and I didn't have enough boundaries on it, and I got a bill for like $300 or $400 when I was trying to use the $50 credit that they give you to try it, and so I botched it up. And so I haven't been back because I thought it was, well, obviously, there's such wonderful customer service on LinkedIn. So he recommends LinkedIn as an ad placement for B2B especially, which I do. And it says, we tried it, we couldn't make it work. So I'm really interested in reaching out to Howard, and we need to have a little conversation. Now I'm going to change my format, I think, of the conversations to make them a little longer, because I can't force people to boil down what they want to say and get good content in 10 minutes. Joe Rogan goes like 4 hours. I don't think I'll be going 4 hours, but it'll be someplace between 10 minutes and 4 hours. And I think you'll enjoy it, because I'm only doing really industry leaders. So be a lot of fun. Anyway, first, good offer. I'm going to make these more positive. Non-content offers. This is a bad offer. Why do the people fail? Well, bad offer. Okay. So he says if you try to make people go all the way to call me, you won't get much happening. So better off some low level, send for the report or register for the report. I like that. He says LinkedIn ads have a shelf life, new ad at least once a month. or at least repurpose it with a new image. Good tip. I love this. This is great. This is actionable. This is the kind of news I like. Okay, keep headlines under 150 characters and descriptive copy under 70 characters. Specific. Let's start with that. If you're going to start on LinkedIn, let's start with something guidelines. Be sure to include a clear and specific call to action. Download the report. Okay? Running out of space, use text in your image. Okay? Like I do on my banner of myself. LinkedIn with my links in the text. Use text in your image. What you'll learn. 3 reasons to attend. See, I didn't do any of that for this webinar. Poor user experience. This was a big one. This is just a huge big one. 57% of, and I rebelled against that mobile app for a long time, but it's really nice. I get alerts. I turn off the audio because it was blinking at me too much. But I get alerts when people do stuff on LinkedIn. It's very handy. I really have gotten to like it. Okay, but if almost 2/3 of people are using LinkedIn on the mobile app, at least some of the time, I am mostly. You add links to a custom landing page. Make sure that the page is fully responsive. See, I botched that up with the webinar too, because, and I got to write to the people who built this thing. When you go to register for my webinar, you have to have a quantity of 1 in the ticket quantity. It's a free ticket, for heaven's sakes. But because it defaults to 0 and you can't see 0, you get an error right away. It's like brain dead. Why would anybody register with a quantity of 0? It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's just bad programming. So anyway, I got to go after those guys and tell them to fix it. Okay, so make sure you can complete it on a mobile device. This is really interesting because I've noticed this a couple of times, that LinkedIn's lead gen forms, I don't know if those cost extra, but I really want to investigate those because I've noticed that now when you click register, up comes a form that already has your stuff filled in. Wow, I like that. Okay, because I don't like to type. You can't type on a phone. You can't type your name in on a phone. Okay, higher conversion rate compared to third-party forms. But you're also more likely to capture a person's personal versus business email address. Yes, that's true. And, I used to be able to get everybody's email address that connected with me, but LinkedIn made an opt-out on that and opted everybody out. So it's totally stupid. So opt in if you hear this. Opt in, share your email. It's not going to stop the flood of spam from Russia. It's not going to be even relevant. Okay, audience size. This is another one. Aim for a size of 15,000 to 100,000. Start low. Good point. And expand from there. Try to get your best case. And if that pays off, then you go for wider. But don't start with 1.5 million or something like I did on Facebook. You know how many marketing people who have marketing on their profile in Facebook? I tried Facebook for WDMA. There were 1.5 million people between Minneapolis, Chicago, and Milwaukee, or in Wisconsin. 1.5 million who had marketing in their profile. I got 2 or something. Not testing enough. This was a good one too. Test. That's what he's saying. Try to test. At least 2 ads. And when you get an ad that works, pause the lower one for 2 to 4 weeks. Then I would say, then test audience. This is another one. Test audience. Learn which segments respond best. Now, one of the things, Howard, I would have liked in your article is how much to spend. What's a good budget? A company like WDMA has maybe $1,000. Can I get started for $1,000? I'd be interested in it. I don't know. Poor company page. Yeah, I have terrible company pages. I almost never post on my company page. I get like 3 visitors a year. So I'm making all these mistakes. Sorry, that's the way it is. But Howard, thanks for trying to educate us. Look up Howard, and he's on LinkedIn. Let's go back to his name. Howard Sewell. Look him up. Connect with him and start advertising on LinkedIn with Howard. Sounds like a really smart guy. Have a great day. Like and share. Share shows you care. And your friends will think you're smart. I'm John McLash. Bye-bye.